Hello, everyone. It's Rose, your business foundation specialist, and I'm back again. I hope you guys all tuned into part one. If not, go back and watch it. But this one you don't want to miss, and I'll do a brief recap. For those of you who are not familiar with me, my name is, again, Rose, and I'm a business foundation specialist, and I help entrepreneurs build credible businesses, right? And what does that mean? Essentially, it means that I help you build your business as if you're building a house, right? Brick by brick, piece by piece, starting with the foundation. And it's super important, and that's the piece that a lot of us miss. So I make sure I step in and we fill in those gaps. So today we are going to be talking about business credit, which is like a big buzz. Everybody's talking about business credit. But I'm going to give you what's the tea. Like, I'm going to tell you the truth about business credit, right? I'm going to tell you from AKA working in the bank, right? Seeing it from that side. I'm also going to tell you from an entrepreneur who built her own business credit in less than 90 days, right? So I'm going to give you some tools, some tricks that you can do. But before we get into that, I want to make sure you understand what is business credit. So you ready? Let's go. So we're talking about business credit. What is business credit? And it's just the ability to borrow money to buy things now and pay for it later. Simple as that. And you borrow it under your business. Your business is a living, not living like actually alive, but it is alive. It's a separate entity. Think of it as a separate person. Your business is growing, right? Right now it's a baby, it's gonna become an adolescent, it's gonna become a full adult. Like, think of it like that. It's a separate person from you. And that's how it should be when you're building your business correctly. So because it's a separate person, it is able to go out there and obtain business credit from banks, investors, and different shareholders who are going to give you money to borrow. How awesome is that, right? But before you get there, you have to make sure you actually have a business. Again, go watch that first video. If you are missing any of those steps in that first video, you need to talk to someone, figure it out, get it done yourself, or hey, I'm here, right? Reach out. But that's when you know you have a legitimate business, and I'm going to recap it. But before we recap, let's start with why. Why do you even want to build business credit? What are you going to use it for, right? You have to have a plan in mind with anything that you do, especially when it comes with business, because it's important for you to have a guideline, right? You just don't want to be out here trying a whole bunch of different things because, one, it costs a lot of money and it costs a lot of your time. And that is one thing that we know we can't get back. So having a plan is very important. So if I have a business and let's say, for instance, I sell coffee, what am I going to use my business credit for to do? Am I going to use it to buy my coffee? Do I need it for a marketing budget? Do I want to hire someone to help me go to vendor shows? You have to have an idea in mind. And let me tell you, banks love it. If you have a plan of, hey, I want to get $10,000 from you and this is how I'm going to use it, they love it because it shows that you're a legitimate business, right? You're clear-minded, you have direction, and you're focused, and they like that. So ask yourself, why do I want to build business credit? How will having it help the growth of my company? And also, what actions will you take to get results, right? It's all about the action, right? Action steps. So preparation is key, right, for business credit. And I'm just going to recap some things that you need to make sure that you're a legitimate business. We talked about having your professional email address, meaning no Gmail or Yahoo. I know. It got to be professional, sis. So we want to info@mycoffeehouse.com, whatever it is, you want it to be at your domain name.com. It could be hello, get creative. You want to secure a business phone number. This is important. This also legitimizes you as a legitimate business. I know I used it twice. Okay, don't judge me. But it also shows that you are credible, right? You are actually operating this thing as a separate company, a corporation that you are looking to grow. So you want to have contact information and you want to have a separate phone number. Please do not use those free Google numbers. The only reason why you should use it if it's for like maybe a campaign or something separate, but it shouldn't be your first form of contact, because if I am a lender and I'm calling and I see, please wait for Google to connect you to your subscriber, I'm gonna be like, no, absolutely not. Because remember, everything you're being judged. You're being judged. So we want to make sure what we're presenting to the world is what we really want them to see, to know that, hey, I'm serious about this thing. Okay, so we got that. You have established your business permanent address. We talked about not using our personal address. I'm not going to get too much into it here. Go back and watch that video. But you want to have a legitimate business address. And there's actually a lot of co-working spaces, a lot of communities that you can reach out to that offer business corporate mailing addresses for you to legitimize your business. Then we talk about actually making sure that entity is formed, that LLC, that S Corp, that C Corp, right? You got that done. Then you got your business social security number, which is your EIN number, right? Your employee identification number. You got all that. Perfect. Now you make sure you got your business bank account, right? That's the one step we don't skip. You go open a separate business bank account, right? We did that. You signed up for your Duns and Bradstreet number. Great. I'm proud of you. You're making sure you're complying with local state laws and licenses. I am so proud of you. And now here's the kicker. You made sure that you list your business with 411. We talked about that free Google business page. You want to make sure that your customers can find you, and not only your customers, these people that are you going to go out to ask money for, they want to be able to find you too. We want to make sure that you're actually there. And then after that, you can start applying, and we'll get into that. So why do you want to list yourself on 411? I'm going to tell you from a banker's point of view. For one of the companies I used to work for, when we used to open business bank accounts, one of our audit processes to make sure that this business was legitimate is to do a search of their address that they provided us. So we would literally have to search, not only search it, we will actually go and have to physically go to that location. So we would have to physically see, is this a home? Is it a building? Is it an empty lot? Like literally somebody had to physically go and go look to make sure that that address that that business owner provided us is actually a legitimate location. So that's why I say these things. I'm not just talking out my, you know what? It's just important because, again, everything that you do when it comes to your business, you are being judged. And we want to make sure that we are putting our best foot forward. So let's get into some fun stuff, or not. We talked about what business credit is, right? So you have to have a strategy. And it's simply to, break it down. A strategy is just a plan. It's just a plan of action. It doesn't have to be really fancy. You could just write it down, but it helps with clarity, right? And we talked about having direction. You know where you're going. So when it comes to building business credit, you should know what your ultimate goal is. We talked about that earlier, right? Do I want to use it for equipment, marketing, and how can this impact my business? So I want to kind of break down some different variations of business credit just so you know, because a lot of us don't know. So we're going to start with credit cards. A credit card is something that you get. It's almost like a debit card, but it's not. It's not a debit card is normally attached to your bank account. A credit card is attached to a set limit. So let's say the bank gives me a $5,000 credit card under my business name. I have $5,000 spending on that card where I can either use the whole $5,000 in one lump sum, or I could use it over time. And then let's say if I use it over time, they're going to send me a bill and they're going to say, hey, you spent $5,000, but you only have to pay us a percentage. I would pay that percentage off and then take my time to pay off the balance, or I can pay it off in full. That's a credit card. It's revolving. That means you can kind of carry a balance if you want. There's something called a charge card. A charge card is not a revolving card. It's actually a card that you would have to pay the bill off in full every month. So if my limit is $5,000, and I spent that $5,000, my bill due is going to be $5,000. So think of it like that. Now there's lines of credit. Lines of credit are very popular in the business space because it gives you flexibility, right? So I can get a $50,000 line of credit, and that just means that I have access to $50,000 and I can pull it anytime I want, but I don't have to. I can just have it there. But say if I wanted to take out $10,000, I take out $10,000 from the line of credit. I can take it out as cash, or I can just pay something, whatever I want to do with it. And then I'm going to get a monthly bill in the mail to start paying back that $10,000 that I used over time. I'm not going to have to pay anything with the $50,000, right? Because I didn't use the full 50, right? I have $40,000 left. I only used $10,000. So a line of credit is revolving too. It just gives you a bigger spread. It's a little different, right? And it actually gives you access to cash. With credit cards, can you convert it into cash? Yes. It's just normally very expensive to do so. I wouldn't recommend it, but you do whatever is best for you and your business. With a line of credit, you can actually take out the cash, no problem. They're not going to charge you for that. You take out the cash, you go spend your cash. You can put it wherever you want. And then there's something called loans. So a loan is a lump sum So if I got 50,000, they're gonna give me a check for 50,000, and I would put that in my business bank account. And then I would have a term that I would have to pay that $50,000 off over time. You know, it all depends on what I decided with the bank. So it's always important to make sure you understand your terms and conditions. That's super important. What are the terms? What are the conditions, right? And always, always, always read the fine print when somebody's trying to give you money for your business. Read the fine print. Okay, so now that we covered that, let's move into the 3 C's of business. And these are things that you need to know as a business owner. It's important to understand the inner workings of the system that are put in place to regulate credit, right? So collateral. When you hear somebody say collateral, that just means what do you have that the lender can hold? So for instance, when you go for a home equity, the collateral is usually your home. So the bank will give you money based off the value of your home. So they know that if you were ever to default on not paying back their money, they can just, hey, I own a home now. So think of it like that. So when you hear somebody saying, hey, yes, we have a collateral loan, that means they want something from you. So maybe you're somebody who saved and have a great savings account, but really don't want to take your savings to start your business. You can see if there's a collateral loan option where you can put up your savings account for collateral, maybe a percentage. They'll hold it in like maybe a money market or a CD, and they'll fund you a loan. Let's say it's a $10,000 loan, and you just pay it off over time. The reason why they approved you is because they know no matter what, if you defaulted, they have that money set aside that they can take to pay off the debt for you. So it's almost like you're betting on yourself. So that's another way you can think of it, right? So think of collateral like that. Then there's something as a business owner you should know, which is cash flow. When you are going to the bank and you want some big money, and I'm talking about we're getting into the 25, 50,000, 100,000, they're going to ask you, what's your cash flow like? They want to see a P&L, and that's for another day. And cash flow pretty much is your income minus your expenses. What do you have coming in? What do you have coming out? And is there anything left over? So either you have a negative cash flow or a positive. Positive meaning that your whatever money's coming in minus your expenses, you have a positive amount left in your account. It's negative if you're paying more expenses than your income. Got it? I just want to make sure you guys understand. These are things as a business owner you need to know. The next thing we talked about is credit, is how much you have available to borrow, right? Think about it as capacity, right? Just because I have the capacity to borrow 100,000 on paper, maybe, that doesn't mean I really do have the ability to actually pay that back and manage it. So you want to make sure that you are staying within your means. It's super important. Super important. Okay, I know y'all like, Rose, where's the business credit stuff? But this stuff is important. This all ties into business credit, right? This is the stuff that they don't tell you, and I'm telling you, so take heed. So now, before we get fully into business credit, you got to know who are the players, right? There's a lot of different business credit bureaus, but we're going to talk about 3. So if you're familiar with personal credit, we know about Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Those are the major 3. For business credit, they're almost similar. We have Experian Business, Equifax Business, and then we have Dun & Bradstreet. Dun & Bradstreet is one of the largest players, and I talked about that in the other video, but we're going to break it down a little bit more. So with Dun & Bradstreet, they give you a Paydex score. Everybody heard about that. Well, let me not say everybody, because maybe not. But with the Paydex score, you have a score from 1 to 100, 100 being the best, 1 being not so good. And with business credit, is totally different from personal credit. With personal credit, they have different foundations that they look at for 5 components. Business credit is not really like that. With business credit, I can have like $250,000 in business credit, and I could be using a lot of it, leveraging it, right? As long as I'm paying on time is really important. Making sure that I'm making on-time payments is really good for business credit. With personal credit, we know we have a lot more to do than that. You're kind of capped with your debt to income ratio, and it could kind of really stop you in your tracks because you can't access more capital, AKA funding, because you already have so much out there. Business credit, you're not limited. You're not limited at all. They want to see responsibility and that you can manage it. And they're not just, of course, if you have 250,000 maxed out, they're not going to say, yeah, I'm going to give you this $1 million loan. It has to it just has to make sense with whatever deal that you're putting together. But you have to just make sure that you can tell the story, right? So Paydex Score goes from 1 to 100. How do you get a good Paydex Score? Just making sure you're paying your bill on time. If my bill is due on the 15th and I pay my bill on the 15th, my Paydex Score will be around an 80. That just means I'm paying it on time. If I want a higher score, I'm going to pay it days ahead, right? So to get 100, your payment comes 30 days sooner than the term. So as soon as I got my bill, I paid it. And that's going to help me get 100 for my business credit. To get a 90, your payment comes 20 days sooner than the terms, meaning that they sent me on the 20th of the month and I paid it 10 days after that? Boom. On the 80, to get an 80, that just means if my bill was due on the 15th, I paid it on the 15th. And then it goes like that. If you pay it after, that's when you start falling behind. And we don't want to do that, right? So as you can see on the screen, you'll see the Paydex Score chart. Take a look at that, familiarize yourself with. So we're moving into how do I build business credit today? Rose, I have all those things that you told me. I'm ready. This is what you're going to do. You're going to go to nav.com. We'll have the link below for you. And you're going to sign up for the business boost. Nav.com helps you build your business credit super fast because they report to all 3 business credit bureaus, right? And you don't have to do anything. You just pay I think it's like a quarterly subscription or maybe a monthly. It's up to you. And by you doing that, you have access to their hub, which is a wealth of knowledge. They'll have so many different options for business credit. They'll tell you about a lot of different loans, and they'll even match your particular business to other credit options that might fit you. So if any of you have Credit Karma, and we know we go into Credit Karma, it'll say, hey, this credit card you're 100% match for. Nav.com is that for businesses. So that's how you kind of supercharge your business credit, and that's exactly what I did to supercharge my business credit as I signed up for nav.com, got that account, the business booster account, and paid that quarterly, and they reported that I was making a payment to the business credit bureaus, and that started to generate a Paydex Score for me. The next thing that you can do, there's a few credit cards that you can get. One is called the Divvy card. It is a great card for people who are starting their business and doesn't have a lot of business credit. It is perfect because they're all about when you spend on it and you pay it off, that starts to build up your business credit for them. And they report that to the bureaus, allowing you to grow, generating you a Paydex Score. And then the other one, some that we heard about, maybe not, is those trade lines. These are tier 1 trade lines, and these are called Net 30 vendor accounts. These are super easy to get approved from, but here's the challenges with Net 30 accounts. There's not always something that you may need in your business that you can buy from them. So you want to be very strategic of the Net 30s that you sign up. Some of the gurus will tell you, hey, sign up for these 5, 10 Net 30 accounts and do X, Y, and Z. But you got to make it make sense for you and your business because it's not like you're not paying for these products that you have to order to generate a score. So you want to sign up for trade lines that correlate with your business. So if you want to do some marketing and there's a vendor called Searchy, you'll see it on the screen. You could buy t-shirts for your business. Perfect way to market and promote while you're building your business credit. There's another one called Creative Analytics, Sumo Office Supply. You want to get your office supplies. So if you have a printer, you need printing paper, pens, whatever you can get from these vendor accounts, that's what you want to do to help build your business credit. And you want to get your bill, and to get that 100, you got to pay it as soon as you get the bill, right? That's how you get that high Paydex Score. And then from doing these steps, signing up for NAB Business Boost, getting your tier 1 trade lines, even applying for a Divvy card, you're going to start to see after about 3 months, even sooner sometimes, that now, okay, I have a business credit score. So that's just the beginning foundation. Again, we talked about what is your goal. The goal is not to just have trade lines. No, we want some cash. We want some large amounts of cash. But to get that, right, you have to make sure your foundation is set and then that you have these things in place to show that, hey, I can manage credit. So now we're moving into a different segue, and I'm going to talk about a timeline before I get there. So pretty much with the timeline, 0 to 90 days, you find your vendors that you want to apply for. I'll give you a list of vendors that you can apply for. Always read the terms and conditions because some of them have certain fees and certain memberships that you have to comply with. Look at what they're offering, the products, because you can look at the products before you sign up to see, is there something that I can utilize in my business? Maybe just not even your business. Maybe I need toilet paper for home. Okay, we got to get creative, people, all right? Fill out the required information. You're filling out your business information on all these vendor apps. You're not putting your personal information. Sometimes they will ask who's the owner. And if you're the owner, yes, you put your personal information. But you're going to put your business name, your business address, your business email, your business website, things of that nature. I want to make sure that you guys are aware of that because some of us haven't filled out these applications before. And they'll ask you your business tax ID. And the great thing about these vendor accounts, they do not affect you personally. Now, if you are nervous about them affecting you personally, please feel free to call those vendors before you submit that application and just make sure, because they are possibly going to ask you for your social security sometimes, just to confirm who you are, right? For certain reasons, they have to make sure that they have your key identifying information. But if you feel nervous, don't take my word for it. Please call. Okay, so fill out the required information. Once approved, you start making the minimum purchase amounts. Purchase something from each vendor once a month. Pay it as soon as you receive the invoice. Rinse and repeat. Boom. Now you generated a business credit score, and now your business is starting to build business credit. But now if you want to play in the big boy league, right, you want to get the access to some big money, your personal credit has to be in position. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, oh, nope, your personal credit can be horrible. Is it possible for you to build up your business so great that, you know, your personal credit is not an option? Yes, it just depends on this type of structure your business is in. Sometimes corporations and of whatnot get that a lot of benefits, what type of revenue your business is bringing in, right? So that matters. But essentially, they still always want to look at your personal. You can't run away from your personal credit. So if you're someone whose personal credit is not in the best position, I would say to you today is to start working on it. That's the best thing that you can do for yourself. And that is the way to really fast track your business credit, is to fix your personal credit. Okay? And it doesn't have to be anything crazy, because when you apply for applications, they're just sometimes they do a soft pull where they're just looking, they're not doing a hard inquiry. They just want to see, how does the owner handle their personal finances? Because they're not just going to think that, oh yeah, he handles his personal finances crappy, he's just going to take immaculate care of the business. No, they're not going to trust you. Again, they're looking to you, how you look like on paper, what you look like on paper, right? It's not about you. It's about, okay, what's the story that your profile, your business, and everything is telling this lender? Are you trustworthy? Can I trust you with $100,000 to know that you're going to give me my money back? It's not like how you lend your cousin money and they tell you tax time come, they got you. It's not one of those, okay? They're not going to do that. They need to have you prove to them that they can take this chance, because business credit is very risky because it's not attached to a person, right? So it's more risk for the bank, more risk, high rewards, right? But that's why a little bit more stricter guidelines. So you have to understand that. So to fast track, get your personal credit in position. If your personal credit is about a 680 or higher, you would be able to personally guarantee, which is co-sign for your business, meaning that if my business doesn't pay this debt that I'm taking out, I will pay it back personally. Because remember, your business is somebody separate than you. So when you personal guarantee it, that means you're saying, no, I trust my business so much and I'm so confident that my business is going to succeed, I'm willing to co-sign for it. That assures the lender that, hey, okay, I could lend them some money because, you know, they're willing to bet on themselves. I can bet on them too. So don't have somebody try to bet on you and you're not ready to bet on yourself. That doesn't make any sense. Make it make sense. So think of it like that. If your credit is at a 680, you can personally guarantee loans, and then you can go right the next week and get a business credit card. And your business credit card might be $3,000, $5,000, right? You show that you're paying it off, using it properly. boom, there might even offer you, say, hey, you want to get this line of credit that we have? You've been doing such a great job with that business credit card. And that's how you start to build relationships. And remember, your first lender is normally where you have your bank account. If you opened your business account, let's say at Chase, TD Bank, Key Bank, wherever you went, that is going to be your first lender. So make sure that you're choosing these business bank accounts wisely. What banks you bank at is important. You want to make sure that they are business friendly. All right, back to the regular schedule program. So some business credit vendors that you can check out, I have it on the screen. These are tier 1 vendors, so it's usually easy approval. They're called Quill, Granger, Business T-Shirt Club, right? You know, they sell T-shirts. Summa Office Supply, CEO Creative, and even BP MasterCard, which is a fleet fuel card. So those are some easier vendors that you can try to get approved from. Now, let's be honest. What if I'm denied? So it happens. Maybe you miskeyed something on the application. Maybe something just didn't correlate well. One thing that you can do is call and just have a conversation with someone to have them take a second look at your application. Always ask for a second look, but be ready to tell your story. You're your business first advocate. So that's why we always make sure we have a plan, because if you know what you're doing, you have a plan, you can say, oh, this is what I want to do. Hey, I applied for this credit card. I got denied. Or I applied for this vendor account. I got denied. Can you please take a second look at my application? You want to be prepared and ready. And then they'll take a second look. They'll ask you some details, and either they'll approve you or deny you. If you still get a continued deny, you can come back and apply in 30 days or just try another company, another vendor account. There's so many out there that's lending to us right now. So it's important that you just make sure that you are exhausting all options. And again, once you have nav.com, which is nav.com, as you'll see on the screen, it is super easy for you to kind of navigate through this process because it has a ton of resources and blogs so you can educate yourself and make sure that you're putting your business and yourself in the best position. Okay, so we're about to wrap this thing up. So we apply for some vendor accounts. Keep a expense report of what you're spending because it's very important. You don't want to start overspending, right? So keep an expense report of what you're spending. Some of these tier 1s, like I mentioned before, have annual membership fees. So make sure you're aware of that and consider, do I want this one or I want someone else? Think about that. And this is where you're diligent with your finances. Don't overexhaust your amount of credit that you're trying to take out for your business, thinking that, oh, it's under my business, I don't have to pay it back. It's all about being financially responsible, right? And the habits that you generally have in your personal life is going to overlap into your business life. So if there's some things that you need to clean up, start today, start cleaning up, start getting organized, start becoming the person that you need to be successful in the business and to have the business that you envision for yourself. And I'm gonna repeat this, never miss a payment. Never, ever, ever, ever miss a payment. If you are struggling, going through hard times, pick up that phone and call that lender, that vendor and say, hey, I'm running a little bit behind. Can you stretch out my due date? Can I just pay you half of this? They'll take something instead of nothing, and they'll appreciate the fact that you are calling and making a payment arrangement with them. But the one thing you won't want to do is ignore it like it's never going to happen, or like, oh, I know that payment's due today. I don't got it. They ain't going to get it. No, have a conversation. That's what business people do. We talk about it, we figure it out, and we come up with a solution. That's what you're going to do. And let's see, I think that's a wrap. I know I talked about a lot of things in here, but essentially building business credit all starts with just building your business foundation, making sure you have a legitimate, credible business, which is trustworthy, right? And then from there, there's some sites that you can use to fast track your business credit, like nav.com, Divvy, and tier 1 vendors. From there, once you have that solidified, now you can start moving into getting more financial institution credits, which is we're getting money from the big banks. We might go going to Chase, Bank of America, Key Bank, because we're getting a business credit card in our name. How exciting. And then from there, you're going to step up and say, hey, I'm ready for that line of credit. Like, I'm there. I might need a fleet loan to start my Toro business. Hey, I might want to start Airbnb. Like, I have the money now because I have the credit. So make sure that you're taking those steps little by little, right? Tier 1, NAV, Divvy. Then we're going to go to the bank, try to get our business credit card. When you go to the bank, disclaimer, they are going to look at your personal account. There's no way around it. When I say personal account, your personal credit, excuse me. There is no way around it. No financial institution is going to say, I'm not going to look at your personal credit. They're going to look. So that's why your personal credit has to be in position, right? I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. They're going to look. Then from there, you get your lines of credit, you start building and growing. And then there's a lot of community development offices out here in every city that are there to lend to you. If you find that you're having a hard time with normal traditional banking options, you reach out to your local mayor, your town hall, and ask them what options you have. They have options for you that a lot of people don't take advantage of because we don't know it's there. So that's some things that you can do. If you have any questions for me, again, my name is Rose. You can find me at www.roseeffect.com, which is ROSEAFFECT.com. I'm on Instagram. I'm at RosieRose007, which is Rosie, ROSIE, Rose, ROSE007, meaning 007. Get it? Okay, yeah. All right, guys, I am done. I hope this was helpful. I know I talked about a lot in a short amount of time. Please take your time, ask questions, leave a comment. I'll make sure, or whoever will make sure we answer it, and I'm here for you. I'm wishing you a lot of success with everything that you do, with your future endeavors, and I'm rooting for you. Talk to you later. Bye.